Okay. Hi, everyone. It's me, Ursula. I've got a frog in my throat. Um, I haven't gone live on here in a couple of years, I think. And in fact, I had kind of forgotten that this is something I used to do. And then last night, I just went down a rabbit hole watching some live stream, like recorded live stream videos, which I'll talk about a little bit more in the future. But I was so entertained. I was so entertained by this one person, especially, and she doesn't have a lot of followers. And I just found her adorable, hilarious. Couldn't stop watching. I put a link to one of her videos in the description of this video. But I'll talk about that more in a second. I just thought I'd get on here. Maybe some of my friends will see this in the future, or some people that I used to teach workshops with will see this and, just want to check in and see what's been going on with me. I'm about to start grad school next week again for the third year. It's my final year. And so, the last 2 years I've been pretty busy with that. And then any free time I had, I was just working on my projects or whatever. So, I have one more year. And, but yeah, I kind of miss doing the whole live stream thing. And so who knows, maybe I'll do it again, in in the upcoming weeks, just as it's kind of just a relaxing, fun thing to do, to be honest. Okay, so something that's changed since my last time I did this was I got a new kitty. My last kitty died, unfortunately, about a year ago, Juniper, and we got a new cat who likes to join me in the studio. She often, after she settles down, she'll sit on a chair. The other day, she was sort of buried over there in my canvases. She's very communicative. Her name is Daphne, and she's super adorable and fun to be with. Daphne, you want to come up here? She looks like a giant raccoon or like a giant squirrel or something. There she is. Ugh. God, she's so cute. She does get kind of pissy though, if I bug her too much. I've been watching some Jackson Galaxy videos on how to be with cats, and he says, don't ever force them to, provide content for your social media outlets. Don't force them, and don't force interactions with your cat. So I'm trying not to do that, but she's so cute. I just want to squish her all the time. Okay. So anyway, something I got into this summer is this hobby called diamond painting. And I call it a hobby. I had never heard of it before. Last night, okay, you can hear my cat. She's kind of over there. I have this project I made in plaster that's covered up, and she wants to sit on it so badly. Okay, so anyway, I got into diamond art. I was at the beach with my in-laws, and my sister-in-law brought out this kit with these shiny little plastic things and colorful, and I was like, what is that? And she said, diamond painting. And she showed me how to do it, and I knew instantly I needed to try it out. Anytime I hear about some kind of hobby or something, I just want to hack it. I want to do something to it. I want to incorporate it into what I'm doing. And so I got it and just started trying it out and just started doing diamond painting. And more recently, I was like, what is this stuff? Like, is there or someone told me they watched diamond painting as like ASMR for themselves. So I was like, all right, there must be a diamond painting scene. So I checked it out, and there certainly is a diamond painting scene, and people get into it. So what it is you buy these like kits, you get like a printed, so it's very similar to paint by numbers, except instead of painting in numbered spaces, you're putting colored beads into those spaces. What I noticed from watching all these videos is that there is a whole system that people go by, and there's a whole like way that they organize their beads. And it's interesting to me because it seems like a lot of the interest in it is like maintaining it, like collecting the beads, sorting out the beads, like getting like the tools for the beads. And it's just kind of it's just kind of interesting to me because I put chaos as my title because it is chaos in my studio, especially when it comes to the diamond paintings. I do not have, I mean, somewhere up there, I was sent a kit with little boxes to put my beads, but instead it's like, this is what I'm doing with my beads. So these are the little like plastic beads that you put down onto the thing. This is hilarious. It's like no one is watching this. No one's watching this live. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to like my image, which is weird, but hopefully someone watches it live like in the future. But anyway, yeah, there's like a whole scene. There's a thing called Diamond Art Club, and they make these like templates, I guess is what I would call it. And then you fill it in. But I saw it right away and I said, I want to incorporate that with painting. Actually, this painting behind me kind of shows it's in progress, but I have been like influenced a lot by like 18th century French painting, Fragonard specifically, like the whole Rococo era. I love it. It's very decadent and opulent. And I've been like mimicking that in my work, but also like using these sort of more like abject, like, or like inexpensive art forms to mimic opulence and like excess and materials, materiality or whatever, materialism, that's my word. So so this whole scene with these diamond dots was perfect. Like it's shiny, they're glittery, they're plastic. And yeah, so yesterday I just like was looking at people's videos and I came across this woman, and like I said, I put her information in the thing below. Her name, her channel is Eliza Maria Designs, or Elisa, Elisa. And she has all these like adorable, hilarious videos. She's so enthusiastic about her diamond art, and it's just very like sweet and entertaining to watch her get so excited about like the templates and the things that she buys and putting the diamond art together and stuff. So I found her to be like really funny and like I was like, I want to do that. I want to do a live stream video again. So here I am today. But yeah, there's tons of videos about this. I'm going to see if there's a Wikipedia entry about diamond art, because I'm just sitting here going, I had never heard about it. But yeah, there's tons. So I typed it in, and instead what came up was paint by number. And like I said, yeah, it is very much like a paint by numbers kit, except instead of paint, you're putting in dots. Now, maybe what I will do is I'm going to create a diamond dots Wikipedia entry. because it deserves one. Yeah, I'd be really interested in seeing like when this started, because I've never heard of it. So yeah, I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to show you on my computer what I'm working on right now. So yeah, so this is this big template. It was a picture. It was an image of like clouds and flowers. And instead, what I've been doing is I'm sort of making a frame with the diamond dots and then painting around a lot of it. So I'm creating a frame and painting out things so I can put a painting into the middle of this rather than filling the whole thing in with diamond dots, because that's what I've seen people doing. And so then, yeah, there's like these little trays. Now, also people get really into like putting all one color out, but not me. I like mixing them and just applying like mixed beads. Like you might see here, this is a corner I completely made up. I totally worked, again, not on the template, but just sort of made that up. I've noticed it is a lot like painting. It's like impressionism. Like you can mix your colors and get this really interesting effect. And they do that. And you can see like, here's part of the template. And you can see how they do mix like reds and stuff. And some of the colors that you get these like these manufactured beads. A lot of them are very close in color and value and all that. So yeah, I don't know, it's kind of fun. It's been interesting. The biggest issue is that it's very time consuming, and there's these like so you get the sticky paper and you have these little diamond thingies. I like calling them diamond dots because that's what my friend called them. And then you get like these applicators that you have this sort of like gummy substance. Oh, they call these drills, which I don't like that. I want to call them diamond dots. But these are applicators, which you get the this stuff. And what it does is you can pick up a bunch of them on one of these, and then you can apply it like that. Now, people that are really into this get into like making sure all your dots are uniformly placed, and blah, blah, blah. But I have sort of broken out of the grid with that, and just kind of put my stuff down how I want to. Sometimes I get into the uniformed rows and stuff, but I don't know. I just kind of like doing it off the cuff. So right now, I mean, here's the other thing. Like, look what's going on over here. Like, I got my coffee. This is like I've been painting and applying the dots simultaneously. So I've got this water over here. I mean, it is complete chaos. This is like not the way diamond art people like do this. Like diamond art people will they are like serious about like getting like having little trays and organizing all your beads and stuff. But I don't know. This is what I have right now. I only bought 2 kits, and I have another one. Maybe I'll show you here. So this is one that I've worked on already, a smaller one. So I created this border, and this this design right here, that was part of like the manufacturer template. And then I just broke out of it. I started just breaking out of it. Painted up, put like some white paint down here, and then painted this painting. It's a little moment from a Fragonard painting from a series he did called The Progress of Love. Is it The Progress of Love? Yeah, The Progress of Love. And it's like when the two fall in love or are courting, I believe, this little scene. Fragonard, Jean-Honoré Fragonard, was a Rococo painter, the 18th century France, and he did a lot of these like kind of romantic, sensual, suggestive scenes. I love his landscapes though. His landscapes, where he did the trees, clouds, like just this like swell of like abundant nature. And like this painting back here is sort of a riff on it. I love how he, a lot of his paintings, for me, I can't tell the difference, but like where do the trees end and where do the clouds begin? Like it's such a like, just so, it's overpowering. He makes his figures very small often in these giant landscapes. And it's just, I love it. I just like, I love the exaggeration of it and like the opulence and the ornate quality of it. So I have been emulating that in my own paintings and art practice using different materials. So anyway, I'm going to just sit here and work on these diamond dot things for a minute and maybe just talk. By the way, shout out to Glow Space Art, I believe they're called. I put the link in the description also, but they do these really cool shirts incorporating like tie-dye, screen printing, some vinyl stuff. This has like vinyl, like glow in the dark vinyl. But yeah, they're really fun. Company, artist collective in Swannanoa, North Carolina. And I encourage you to look them up and support them. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to do this. So it's so funny because watching people do this online, like they all do it differently. Like people will do little sections, like they'll take an X-Acto knife and they'll cut out a section and then they'll fill that section in perfectly and then do the next section. That is not how I work. I'm kind of all over the place. So I'm just going to fill in right here. Try to pull this out more. I'm going to just fill in some black dots right here. I put some dark blue. You can't really tell, but this is like dark blue. And then I'm going to do some black because I don't want to have to really be thinking too much. You see like this is black. This is like one color. And then this is another, like, it's very hard to see the difference, but this is like a dark blue, like a very, very dark blue. And then this is black. I'm going to fill in this one section with black. And, what I'm doing here is also not really what you're supposed to do. Actually, what I'll do is I'll pour these over here. And I'll put some of the diamond dots in the tray here, like that. And then you kind of like shuffle it around and you get these like rows of them. And then I pick them up with this. I have some other applicators up there that are even bigger than this. See, this is what happens for like your stuff will get stuck to it. So yeah, and so then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab these like that. They didn't all grab on there. And then I'm just going to start filling it in. Yeah. So, and that's what you do. It's very arduous. It's very like, there's a lot, It's a bit tedious. You sit here for hours. Um, it's also like it's intense on the eyes. It's hard to see. Uh, like it's funny because I think people do this as like a way to take a break or something, but it's also like to me, it's just not. I mean, the thing that makes it enjoyable is that like I'm sort of improvising with it. Like I'm not trying to do exactly what was given to me because if I did that, I don't that would be too much. Like filling this entire thing in with diamond dots. And these women online, I'm saying women, I'm sure there are men that do it too. I haven't seen any of their videos yet, but they will like they'll pull out like tons of these that they've made. So they're spending a lot of time on it. So there's also like a single placement side. So you can do one dot at a time, which, I'll do that to fill in little nooks and crannies and stuff. Um, at the end, people are concerned about the dots falling off. I think this stuff is actually pretty strong, but you can like take a sealant, like acrylic polymer or something, and sort of brush it into the cracks, and that's supposed to hold it also. I'm going to see what other kind of applicators I have to show. Okay. So this is some stuff that came in a kit that I had not bothered with. And maybe I'll go through it. This is like little stickers for I just can't worry about that. Like putting the numbers, no. So that everyone swears by these things for the applicator to help you with holding them. I haven't actually used that yet, but I'll go ahead and put that on. Yeah, so good. I've got more trays and stuff. That's good. That's kind of what I need. So here's another tray. I don't know what this is. I have no idea. Maybe it hangs it. Oh, here's another. This is like a thing to keep the rows. I learned this yesterday. This keeps the rows straight. I mean, I'm sure you could use a credit card for the same. You could use a credit card. I have tons of like old credit cards around. Here's one that has a bigger applicator. So maybe I'll try this one. It's kind of fun. And here's another one, a pretty big applicator. And then there's more of these thingies that you can put on your, it's supposed to have, I mean, I haven't had a problem yet with holding the actual thing. I also don't really, I probably do this for at most an hour at a time, like really not much longer than that. I've got some more diamond. And then, yeah, I've got this case that came with like that I can put all the dots in. But again, it's too much work. By the time I do that, my attention, I'll be done, So I'll show you how this works. This one's actually a pretty big applicator. You have to use this wax. And then there's also people that make different waxes, and there's a whole discussion on other products you can use, like other products you can buy. I'm just going to use the thing they gave me. So you go like that, you take your thing and stick it in there. Let's see. You stick it in there like that. And then you can take tweezers. And if you have any excess, you can kind of just scrape it up with the tweezers. But let's see how this works. thing is it's hard for me to get a whole line of these. They all have to be facing up because one side is like beveled and the other side is straight. Like there's tons of them, or should I say flat? So this picks up a whole bunch. So there, picked them all up, and then I'm going to apply them. I mean, this is really fun for like, I mean, I've been listening to these videos online from the Frick Art Museum called Cocktails with a Curator. And they are these talks that the curators of the Frick gave during lockdown. Like there's over 200 of them. And every Friday they would give a talk and they would talk like about a specific work of art in the museum and like a story behind it. And they would pair it with like a specialty cocktail. And I don't know, it's very entertaining. And I've been listening to that while I'm doing my diamond dot journey here. Yeah, I find it's actually kind of difficult to find to get a whole line of these dots to fill this applicator. But I just did it. And yeah, this is good for when you have like a huge area that you need filled in. I'm gonna move to my small, I kind of like this. This is like a 3-dot applicator that I like. So yeah. And that gets, you can fill in like smaller spaces with this. And this is pretty much it, there's like it's amazing to me how many videos are out there about this very niche like thing. I mean, and how many, people design like special special applicators, like resin, like sparkly resin applicators. It's funny, I use this one. This one doesn't even have the squishy thingy on it. Maybe I'll get one. I haven't noticed my hands really hurting that much from this. I mean, for me, it's more like my neck. My neck starts hurting. And also I'm just like sitting here, like, yeah. So I can't do this for too long. So yeah, now I'm doing, so this side probably needs some more. And this is the thing, like now oh, here it is. Yeah, I like mixing these, combining this with the painting and seeing what happens. It's, it is somewhat relaxing if you can find a good video or something to watch or listen to, a podcast to listen to. It is pretty addictive actually, but takes a long time. And yeah, that's it. That's my journey with diamond dots. I always hope, it's so funny, like no one's on here. The other thing is, yeah, just wanted to say, update people, like what else has been happening. I went up to, after school was over in May, I hung out for a couple weeks and then I went up to upstate New York, to Oneonta, New York. And I was there when the smoke got really bad. I mean, it was really bad. But I was up there for about a month. I did journey into the city for a couple days, went to the Frick Art Museum to see those Fragonard paintings in real life because I've been kind of obsessing over them and I needed to see them in real life. And it did not disappoint to see them. And unfortunately, I was not able to take any footage, any like video or photographs of it. So it's all in my mental bank. But that was great. And then, yeah, I went to the Met. I haven't been very interested in historic paintings, like, these like 18th century and earlier. I haven't been as interested in until recently. And I am kind of interested in thinking, when I think about like how these paintings were originally made to kind of, especially with Fragonard, like they were originally, why is it so hard to say that word? Originally made to ornament people's homes, to decorate people's houses. And now they're in museums. And like, I don't know with his paintings, I think because they're so campy, like people don't really think of them as like fine art. But I think that they're really beautifully painted. It's interesting, like he died in obscurity. And now so many people know his work, like The Girl on the Swing is a very popular painting. A hugely popular image is it's a painting, it's a yellow, a girl wearing a yellow dress reading a book. It's like a side profile. You see it everywhere. I had no idea that's a Fragonard painting. Yeah, I mean, his work has just taken over, I think, like our cultural psyche. I mean, it's very much there, but I think people don't know who he is. And it does kind of amaze me that he died in relative obscurity. He was commissioned by a Countess du Barry. She was married to, or she was the mistress of King Louis I get them all confused. The 16th, he was quite a bit older than her and died before she did. And then she had a lot of money. She commissioned Fragonard to make this series of paintings, The Progress of Love. And after he made them for her, it was 4 panels that were going to go in her home. For some reason, she rejected them. She sent them back. She had them for a short time, and then she sent them back. And it's kind of like, I'm so interested in that because as an artist, commissions are intense. And like, if someone is going to send it back, like, oh, how painful is that, And so he kept these paintings for a long time and didn't show anyone. And then I believe somehow Mr. Carnegie and then Frick, for whom the Frick Museum is named after, his collection is what they feature. I guess I don't know how he acquired them. I can't remember, but it's just, yeah, I guess like that Rococo, opulent playfulness was replaced then by neoclassicism. That became like the prevailing aesthetic at the end of the 1700s. And then, of course, there was the French Revolution, and Madame du Barry was Countess du Barry. Keep calling her Madame. She was one of the last people executed by the guillotine. And, there were all these artists that were making artwork for these rich people, and a lot of them just had to flee. There is a book I encountered at the Frick and I've seen it online. I'm very curious. It's over $100. I mean, it's almost $200, but it's this whole book about how artwork was restored and replaced, in the decades following the French Revolution, because so much of it was destroyed or taken, because all these rich people owned it. And it was a revolution by the peasants. The Garden of Versailles became a public garden. And it's always this thing. It's like, well, what do you preserve? You know, these rich people, they had so much wealth compared to the people who didn't. I mean, it's just, you know, the disparity of wealth at that time was so great. And, you know, I can understand why people just had this reaction of like, we're taking over this garden and it's going to become our garden. And of course, it fell out of like, it wasn't as like properly maintained as it had been under, you know, when it was owned by the royals. However, you know, then I think the state of France or the country, I don't know, the nation of France took it. I don't know. I'm terrible with this stuff. Do not cite anything I say. But in this Frick art talk, they were talking about how Madame du Barry, when she went, this is in a journal by another artist named, oh gosh, what is her name? I'm totally spacing on her name. She did Elizabeth Vigie Lebrun. She was a portrait painter, but she witnessed this, the execution of Madame du Barry. And she said she was screaming when she went up to be executed. When she saw the guillotine, she just started losing her mind. And I guess the crowd, a hush came over the crowd. I guess, according to this journal, she was the first person to have that reaction when brought to the guillotine. I guess these other like rich people who were beheaded had just this like pride, and they didn't have any reaction or emotion to being guillotined. And so the crowd was like, whatever. But she did. She and you know, she also started, she was very, she came from a very impoverished childhood too. So I don't know, she knew to scream and the people felt bad. And it is said she was one of the last people executed. And in her journal, I believe Elizabeth, I'm totally not getting her name right. Vigie Lou. Oof, gosh, I'm so terrible with memory. I'm going to look it up right now. But she said if she speculated that if more people had screamed and protested, that would have like I think that possibly not as many people would have been killed at the okay. Elizabeth Vigie Lebrun. That's backwards, isn't it? Okay. Anyway, she was a portrait painter. And she fled to Germany. A lot of these artists kind of had to flee or go in hiding. I don't think any artists were executed for being artists, which is good to hear. They were making a living from the only people that could like buy their stuff. So I guess you can't really blame them. Okay, so I filled in that time of talking, I have filled in this much, that lobe and that lobe right there. I have one blue dot here, which is sort of weirdly, like normally I wouldn't mind that, but it's sort of sticking out too much. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, well, I am gonna call it, oh, I just wanted to say after I went to the Frick, then my husband came up and we drove to Quebec City. Speaking of French stuff, and that was quite lovely. I mean, it was almost like too lovely. Like it was so well preserved. I mean, I shouldn't complain. And I'm not, but it was just like, whoa. Colonism. Like it was very, very much about like I realize it must be okay. I shouldn't say. I mean, maybe someone from French, like a French Canadian can give a comment on here, but it seems like there's a lot of pride in that, even though like the British took it over and stuff, the French colonies and the French ancestry there's a lot of pride in that. Okay. And yeah, and then we drove back and that was really fun. So I've had a nice summer and I hope everyone has too. I might do this again. If you're interested in being notified, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the thing to be notified, or subscribe to my newsletter, which you can find on my website, ursulagullo.com. See, I've got like a bead over here, right? I'm just like sitting here and I'm picking it up like that. Oops. I need more. There. I'm gonna see, this is what I've been doing so much, like all these beads get scattered. I did see that there is like this product that's like a sticky thingy, sticky rubber thing that you can just put down and lift up whenever you want. And it keeps things from sliding around. See, what I'm doing now is so similar to how I paint. Like sometimes I load up my brush with the color and then figure out where to put it in the painting, as opposed to I need this certain kind of maroon. I'm going to mix up the special maroon. With that specific bright pink, I didn't really have a place to put it, so put it back down. But anyway, this was fun. Thanks for listening to me talk about diamond painting and 18th century French drama. No one has come on to my live stream. I mean, there's even this part of me, it's like, did I put this public? But I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, well, I hope that you have a really wonderful day. And if anyone's watching this in the future, and I hope I see you again soon. This is sort of a fun, just relaxing thing for me. It might be too like self-indulgent, so who knows? Okay, bye. End stream. End.